You've entered a safe space where women are taking off the mask and talking about their real experiences with money. We'll explore how upbringing and early introduction to money affects your relationship with your finances as an adult. We'll discuss the pitfalls, major wins, and aha moments experienced on a real wealth building journey. You'll also gain inspiration on what first steps you can take to become more strategic with wealth building. I'll even sprinkle in a bit of coaching at the end of each episode. Welcome to the Road to 1 Million podcast. Welcome to the Road to 1 Million podcast. I'm Star Melancon, your host, and I'm excited to have a special guest, Nani. Do you want to go ahead and do just a little intro about yourself, who you are, what you got going on?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for inviting me to this podcast because you're amazing. Okay. But my
You.
name is Nani. I'm the founder of AirAssistant.io. Very, very quick blurb about me. I am just a country girl turned millionaire that's out here putting people on game to get to 10K plus months while scaling down to 10-hour work weeks. Okay, like that's my jam. I'm currently team driving with my husband, been doing that all of 2023 as a trucker. Never thought in a million years I'd be doing that, but I'm doing it and I'm
Right.
loving every freaking second of it.
Oh,
And
I
uh,
love
and
it.
that's what we got going on. That's me.
It's a lot of quality time, huh?
Too much, a little too much, but it's been lit. It's been so lit. We've been together since high school, and I gotta honestly say, this time that we've had together in the truck has just been so much fun. This has been hands down the best summer of my life since we've been team trucking
Oh,
together. It's been
you
awesome.
know what? Because it's your best friend.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like,
that's my homie.
yeah, even if you get tired of your best friend, like ultimately, who would you want to do this with other than your best friend? You know?
Exactly.
So
That's it. That's like the perfect description right there.
I absolutely love that. Okay, so we have a lot to cover. A little bit about this podcast. The inspiration just got sprung on me to do a limited series 10 episode podcast about Road to 1 Million. I wanted to check in with some previous attendees. I really have been seeing a trend where women feel at any particular time, whether they're doing really well or not doing well at all, that they're the only one going through any particular thing financially. Okay. And this wealth building journey is indeed a journey. So I'm hoping that by the end of these 10 episodes, the listeners will have an opportunity to see that, hey, it doesn't matter really what you're going through. You are not the only one going through it. And I just feel like that conversation needs to be had. So I'm hoping that at the end of it, listeners really are able to say, hey, I have a community out there. Even if I don't know that woman, even if I don't know Nani, I've never met her, let me go find her on social. All right. Before we even get into your background, we were kind of talking off camera. I cannot remember where our journey started together.
Yes. Okay. So, and here's the thing, and I do want to mention this that my business has evolved, right? From what used to be a charm school that catered to high school girls, right? That is now something totally different. It's a virtual assistant agency for women to scale up their businesses to, six-figure quarters. You know what I'm saying? So
Nice.
in the course of that journey, when I had my charm school, the Ladies of Elegance CEO Academy, right? I was actively scouting for featured experts because connection and community, just like you were mentioning, is a catalyst behind all women's success in business. I don't care who you are. Okay, like you need support. We are built to have support, whether it's mentally, financially, physically, through delegation, et cetera, et cetera. Like we need support. So I don't remember how you got on my radar, but I remember actively looking for featured experts that could help my students and my clients to build up their wealth portfolio in other ways. And finance was one of the ways that I was like, we got to get somebody up in here that knows what the hell they're talking about, that is on the same vibe length as everybody else in this community. And I saw your content. It was absolutely perfect. I was like, oh, we got to have her. So I reached out to you, and the rest was freaking history. And I
I know
think I think after that, I came to the road to 1 million. I was like, I need the sauce, I need the information, so it was just synergistic. It was wonderful.
I love that. Yes, and now I'm remembering exactly. It was like a limit. It was like a kind of mini series about probably investing or some kind of personal finance related something. And I probably always tell you, but you are like you are just joy. When I see you, like your eyes are
Oh,
always lit up, the smile, your vibe, your energy, you are just like joy. Listeners, if you have a chance, go to her, any of her socials, and see what I mean. Like when this girl gets on the screen, it's just like, you just feel like, that's how you feel. And even though you be talking some real stuff, you talking about making it happen. You talking about being accountable to yourself. You talking about making money. You talking about scaling. You talking about all the things, but you're just always like joy. Okay, so just as a woman, I would love to know, like, what was your upbringing like? Like, what was Nani young years? What was your introduction or relationship with money as a youngster? How did that go?
oh, sweet niblets. Okay, so it's kind of like the perfect, how do I say, the perfect marriage between being able to see what privilege and what education and what hard work does, and keeping it real down home country. Like, so my mom and my mom's side of the family, very educated, very I can't necessarily say well to do, but people like my grandmother and all eight, nine, 10 of my uncles, right, all her brothers, all had really, really, from what I saw as a little girl, they all lived in gorgeous houses. They all had nice vehicles. They all had really nice jobs. They had money, right? And I
I
was
do.
thinking to myself, and I was like, well, I would absolutely love to live this kind of lifestyle. When I get older, I want a cleaning lady when I get older. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is beautiful. Very well spoken, all of that good stuff. And then my dad's side of the family, because my mom and dad were never married, but they
Mhm.
co-parented very well, and so I always got to see, both sides of the coin. My dad's side of the family, I mean, we're talking classic Tyler Perry. We're talking classic country. Some of them are just straight up contretto. Okay, I mean like thugnificent country as hell. Like they
Not
country. Okay,
magnificent. Okay,
like
go ahead.
you got when you got people in the cut, like you got people in the cut that'll put no. So so I was able to see, that perfect marriage, and that helped me not only strive to achieve the absolute highest that I could, because I've always had the support of my loved ones. I've always had my mom, my dad. I had four grandmothers, both grandmothers on my mother and dad's side. My grandmother from my stepdad's side, and then
Uh-huh.
my great grandmother, which is my grandmother's mother. All four of them, actually, all four except for one are still alive. My oldest is 96 years old. So they were
Wow.
really able to pour a lot of wisdom, feminine wisdom, in me. And my dad really, because I ended up living with him when I was 14 years old. So my entire high school career, I was able to build up that relationship with my dad. And my dad taught me a lot of worldly, pearls of wisdom. He taught me how to navigate in this world. He taught me how to read people. He taught me how to tap into the spirit of discernment. And he taught me how to have a really strong relationship with the Most High. And the combination of both of those completely different sides of the same coin was the foundation I needed to not only see how hard I had to work to get to the lifestyle that I saw emulated as a young girl, but it also helped me to have the kind of mentality
Mhm.
to show up as the most authentic version of myself. I don't have to be somebody that I'm not, and I don't have to serve people that I choose not to serve, right? And I don't, and I know what being poor is like, and I'm 1,000% okay with that because I know how to be resourceful. You feel me? So
Right.
all of
I love
those
making you do.
qualities, like when you sprinkle all of that on top of a really fun personality, like there's literally nothing you should not be able to accomplish when you're able to see all of that growing up. I hope that answered your question.
I love it. Does. And two things really jumped out at me. The first thing is this theme already of grandmothers. You have to be at least the third guest that I've had who's specifically mentioned grandparents or grandmother. And I always say, thank God for them. Thank
Yes.
God for that generation. You know, like we all a lot of times are out here feeling like we just going to get the information from each other, which I mean obviously there's a lot of very smart and resourceful women around, you know, that you can be in community with, but don't sleep on your grandparents.
Not at all. They are the
Don't sleep
biggest
on it.
blessing, the biggest blessing
Yes.
you could ever have. I had the best and still have the absolute best grandparents in the world. The oldest one, my great great grandmother, has raised 5 generations of children, me being number 3, I'm sorry, number 4. Okay. And she just spoiled us. She's just this cute little petite little lady. And I distinctly remember, because you know how when you grow up and you get older, but during the course of your life, everybody told you, probably way before all this AI and technology and millennial stuff
Mhm.
came out, everybody told you, grow up, make really good grades, get a really good education, so that when you graduate you can get a really good job. Okay.
Right.
And build up for retirement, et cetera, et cetera. And that's just not the reality that we live in, right?
Right.
But at the same time, they are the ones that really plant the seed of you understanding what's most important in life. Money is a means to an end, and that end
Mhm.
is building a legacy. That end is building a
Ooh,
family. Knowing how to
girl.
have that legacy, like knowing how to build that legacy, number one, and especially if you're like the two of us who are married to men,
Yeah.
right? You got to know, number one, how to get along with a man. You got to know
Right.
how to be able to raise some kids, so that they have some sense, right? and
Hello.
and they teach you. Your grandparents teach you stuff like that. They don't know a damn thing.
Absolutely.
Most of them don't know a damn thing about building up businesses the way that we
Right.
do in 2023 and on. But they're gonna sure can tell you a little something about building a legacy. They can tell you a little something about growing a family. They can tell you a little something about having some sense. And those are the seeds that you need to build
Be
that
prosperous.
wealth,
Yes.
build that reality that you've
Yeah.
always wanted. So
You
yeah.
know what's interesting? This year, 2023, the theme of Road to 1 Million is legacy.
Mhm.
Is legacy. I'm getting chills just listening to you speak because I'm like, oh my gosh. The other thing is when you were talking about your upbringing and how you had the perfect like marriage of these two worlds, I think a lot of people, when we talk about wealth building, when we talk about, you know, all like becoming wealthy or rich or whatever you want to call it, whatever it is to you, um, a lot of people want the strategy, but they think the strategy is just, you know, own a business, invest in stocks, save money, budget, da da da. But we don't take into account us. You are the main element in your walk, in your journey, in your
Yes.
path to wealth. You are on that road, you are the one walking it. So you have to take into account you. What's your upbringing? What did you see? What was instilled in you from an early age? What, you know, my dad always says, you know, take the good and leave the bad. Like take what you want and leave the rest from my upbringing. And I think a lot of people don't take the time to reflect and have that self-awareness of like, what was my life like? How was I raised? How are, you know, the things that I saw and experienced in my younger years, how do they play into my current adult life? Right. Like I love that you even mention all those elements because they're so important.
Yes.
Okay.
They keep
So
popping up. I'm
you
sorry. Go ahead. They
what
keep
it's
popping up. They'll
right.
always pop up.
That's
You
right.
know.
Because they're a part of you. And then it also goes into that whole thing of like, I can't remember what it is. In corporate, they make us read this book. I'm drawing a blank, but basically, the whole premise of the book is when like a lot of times we're told in school and things like that that we need to focus hardest on the things that we're not good at because we need to get good in those areas and the things that come naturally to us. We, you know, we don't need to focus on it as much. But this book in corporate, I can't remember what it's called, but it basically tells you the opposite. Like, and this will be perfect for for your air assistant, your air assistant.io. This book in corporate tells you whatever comes naturally and you're good at, you need to work like hell on that, and the
Yes.
rest of the stuff delegate. And
Yes.
that is how you become successful. So when you say like they're gonna keep, it's a recur, like these things from your upbringing are recurring and they're gonna keep popping up, they are. And instead of working against them, you need to figure out how to build them into your strategy. So
Absolutely. You know, one of the biggest things that I focused in on when I first came into the game about 10 years ago, and I was trying to help these high school girls avoid the pathway that I took, which is the pathway that a lot of us take. After we graduate college, we kind of draw this line like, what the F am I going to do with my degree? Like, what am I going to do with my life? What in the hell? Nobody gave me the strategy, the pathway, the motivation, etc., to actually know what it is, know what my purpose is supposed to be. And so the first, or the kind of the first quarter of my business journey, like the first 4 years, I really had to help a lot of women understand that the thing that you're going to scale, the thing that's going to get you to your first million or more, is really going to be what I call your superpower. It's the perfect marriage between what you're really good at doing and what you really love to do, because that's going to be the thing that will supercharge your tenacity. That's going to be the thing you'll be pouring your blood, your sweat, your tears, all your effort into. Because the one thing that a lot of people don't say, a lot of entrepreneurs don't say in the path to growing a business or building wealth, et cetera, is that it's a lonely game. It's an absolutely lonely game, and not very many people understand the journey that you go on. Your closest, people closest to you,
they're
husband,
not gonna get it.
wife,
Mhm.
parents, brother, sister, whoever, yeah, they'll kind of cheer you on and root on your quote unquote little business. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
No,
they don't
seriously.
know. Like, they have no freaking idea exactly what it takes. Like, even with my husband, he doesn't have a business mind, and so
Mhm.
because he doesn't have a business mind, he doesn't understand what it's like to manage people, what it means when, if we're getting in, let's say, $8,000 to $10,000, exactly why only 2,000 of that is coming back into the house. Like, the business has to grow. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Mhm.
But I said all that to
Girl,
say, that after you kind of zeroed in on exactly what that superpower is, and you've crafted what I call your $1 million offer. It's actually, I got that concept from Rachel Rogers. Rachel
Rachel Rogers.
Who's the
We
author
should all
of
be
We Should All.
doing that.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's
Mhm.
amazing. Got
She
some
is.
coaching from her. She's freaking awesome, right?
Same. I
But
was in her. See, look at that. I was in
for real,
her. Yeah, I was a Schmilly. What is it called?
me too, me
The
too, me
club.
too. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I was in a club for about the year, and then I also got in her 7-figure mastermind as well. We'll talk about that
Yeah.
time. But I said all that to say that after you craft essentially what your $1 million offer is, like that one thing that you can put the pedal to the metal on to scale to the moon, you have to understand you got to be surrounding yourself with people that are smarter than you in order to get to the next levels up in your business.
Hi, I'm your host, Star Melancon, with a quick break to give you a bit of insight about my signature experience Road to 1 Million. After this episode, if you'd like to learn more or grab your coveted seat at the table, visit SHEbuildingHER.com/road to the number 1M. Links will be dropped in the show notes, and don't forget to stick around until the end to hear my takeaways from this episode. And without further ado,
My name is Ashley Spates. I am from Cleveland, Ohio, but I have been residing in Houston, Texas. This event was mind blowing, game changing, outside the box. I couldn't even have predicted the experience that I was going to get today. I came knowing I was going to get some information, but she over delivered. I got more than I can even ask for, just what I learned and then the experience itself. My biggest takeaway from this event was having a strategy to this investing. It's not, oh, just put money here, and see how it goes. And making sure that the strategy that you are implementing matches the goals and lifestyle that you want to live, and that it's not necessarily going to be identical for everyone. Someone who was not able to make this event, I would say the next time she has it, you need to go. I would say start saving your coins, make a plan to save a little bit every month until you can afford this, because this is the type of event that creates generational wealth. Like, this is not just, oh, you pay this fee, you get this one time, lump sum of money. This is literally a complete strategy that can change the way how you live. So I would say do whatever you can to try to make it to get yourself in this building with her.
So I'm doing Road to 1 Million a little bit different this year. Day one is going to be the traditional Road to 1 Million experience, like we did 10 women in a room learning about the investments and the retirement and all that stuff. Day two, I'm going to speak for about 20 minutes. It's going to be like some money mindset and accountability stuff. But otherwise, I have other women in there talking about business funding, grants and contracts, real estate investing, personal branding, estate planning, because like you said, you have to surround yourself with people who are smarter than you and that are just a total beast in their perspective fields, right? Because what is it called, a jack of all trades and a master of none. Like, you don't want to be that person, but you do want to find other masters in their area of expertise. Okay, so really quickly, I have a question for you. So you told us about your upbringing. You saw a lot of what could be possible for you, and then you also had a mixture of understanding that you had a desire to have the things that could be possible, but also by maintaining your authenticity throughout that journey to get them. So at what point in your life do you feel like you really took your wealth building journey seriously? Like, you were like, I need to really buckle down and do something here.
After I hired my first employee, that's when because essentially what starts off as a side hustle for most of us, which a lot of us hope and we pray and we dream that this side hustle is going to take off and it's going to replace our full-time income.
Mm-hmm.
That cannot and will not happen until you can start to visualize yourself fully stepping into that CEO role, which means now it's going to be time to start delegating. And when you get your first employee inside of your business, when I tell you, it's a whole nother level of accountability. It's a
Yes,
whole
it
nother
is.
level of the first word that came to mind was celebration, right? Because, and I'm gonna just kind of like to paint the picture here, okay? So I officially, unofficially started LOE Academy back in 2015. I made
Mm-hmm.
less than $5,000 my first 4 years in business, all together, not year over year, all
Right.
together. Okay. 2019 was when I hired my first person. And mind you, this was after I decided to finally start investing in myself through much higher level coaching than just some $100 course or some free
Right.
training, X, Y, and
Right.
Z, right? I
We all
remember
start
I
there.
spent I remember I invested like $3,500 like December of 2018. January 2019, I had made my first $15,000 month. Boom. I was like,
Ooh,
oh, snap,
my
crackle,
goodness.
and pop.
It works.
Okay, now I understand how investments working. Okay, cool. So then I was like, all right, well, how can I duplicate this? Because it felt like a fluke. And a lot of times, and I have to say this to listeners, when you get to that first milestone of bringing in either your first 5,000 or 10,000, 20,000, whatever, you're going to feel like it was a fluke. You're
Yeah.
going to have that imposter syndrome sinking way deep in the back of your
Mm-hmm.
mind, and you got to drive that far away from you, okay? Because you are absolutely 1,000% worthy of exactly where you're at right now, okay? I just
Mm-hmm.
had to throw that out there. So then after I hired my first person, I hired her commission only, and it was a salesperson because I already got through the flow of how to bring more people in, through copywriting training, sales training, et cetera, et cetera. I just needed another person to help close some sales, right?
Right.
That was the first year we had brought in about 50K, like with less than 3,000 Instagram followers. Then I put the pedal to the metal, hired maybe one other person later that year and two more people the following year. We had made six figures less than 3 months after that. And now we bring in six figures every quarter. Continue, continue, continue. So that's essentially how
And,
that has been working out. And
and so,
that's where I really started taking it seriously.
I'm sorry, what about how did that affect your finances personally, like a personal finance adjustment?
Okay, so because back then actually, I'm glad that you asked that because I was in transition from working full time to from working full time like at a 9 to 5 that I really didn't care for to actually
Mm-hmm.
jumping ship and deciding to work full time for myself, and that was between 2019
Mm-hmm.
and 2020. So the way that
Mm-hmm.
that helped me financially was that brought in the exact, actually a little bit more cash in the house, like take home for me, than it did when I
Mm-hmm.
was working full time for somebody else. And
Okay.
I had to, how do I say, really shift my thinking into, okay, well, now I can't worry about putting out all these fires, which is what you do when you're in a side hustle. Now I have to really focus on getting as many new eyes to the top of my funnel as I absolutely can to make this a regular thing. So
Right.
that's where I started taking it seriously.
Okay. Okay. And let me just ask, have you always, I know you're big on systems. Have you always had a system in place for your personal finances, like within your house with your husband, like within your household?
That's a fabulous question. And I will say this in business, absolutely. At home, we have a shared checking account, and I'm the one that budgets everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
My husband's
Mm-hmm.
horrible at budgeting, so he doesn't budget anything, thank God.
Same.
So I budget all our stuff, but I was like, okay, we gotta have, more either disposable income, or we gotta figure out what to do with this disposable income so we ain't spending it every single month. That's why I started coming to you, boo. Okay. I was like, what the hell are we gonna do with this? I don't know what to do with this.
I feel it. Okay, so that'll bring me to my next question for you. So I was trying to remember. I want to say that you signed up for Road to 1 Million kind of like in the last stretch. It was kind of
Yes.
right before tickets closed. Is that accurate?
Yes. And here's why. I was eyeballing it for a
Mhm.
long time. So as soon as you dropped it, I was like, oh my God, I want to go so bad, and I got to travel, and I got to do this, and this is going to cost money, and I got bills to pay. The imposter syndrome and all that shit. And I was like, you know what? I said, all right, God. I said, Lord, if I'm meant to go to this, please help me to get 10,000 this week. That Tuesday, because we were already like in the works, getting everything done. Boom, 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 boom. I had
Uh-huh.
made my 10 grand. I paid for my ticket. I booked my Airbnb, flight booked.
Wow.
It was a wrap. Okay. Because I was like, I
Wow.
know I'm going to need this strategy because I'm telling you, you invest one time, baby, it is paid for itself like 1,000 times over. Okay.
I love
So yeah, I needed that, but I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and bring in this 10,000, before I invest, because that way I don't have to worry, I don't have to stress. While I'm focusing on my personal finances, business is already taken care of. House
that's
bills
right.
are already taken care of,
That's
So that's how that went.
so you basically asked God for a sign, and He was like, "Oh, you want a sign? Boom, there you go.
I
Got
asked,
you."
I
Say
asked,
less.
I asked the Lord for diligence to get to that money, essentially.
That's good. That is a
That's what I
blessing.
needed.
I love
Yeah.
that. Okay, so tell me on a scale. So, had you been introduced to the stock market and investing and stuff before you attended Road to 1 Million?
That's a great question. Yes, but it was so incredibly confusing. And I have to honestly say that you break it down in a way that just it makes so much sense. And then you make it easy enough for somebody who is incredibly busy and already has 37 tabs open in her head, you know, to just make it make sense. Keep it plain, keep it simple, keep it easy, and then be like, all right, do this, do this, do this, this. I was like, done, done, done. Thank you. And that was that. I ain't had to think about it no more.
Girl, that's
And let me tell you, just the experience alone, the networking, it was elegant, it was luxurious. I felt like I was pampering my finances. Like, I didn't know that was a thing. And it was just nice because when you work so hard, you like you like to treat yourself every now and again. And I'm the kind of person who never spends anything on myself aside from
Mhm.
my regular maintenance appointments. Like I got to keep my hair and nails up, right? Got to
Mhm.
keep the skin clear and all that good stuff. But at the same time, I won't buy, like, I still got some clothes from high school. Like, it's horrible. It's bad. Okay. But when it comes to like really treating myself, because I know that that means I'm treating my family and I don't have to worry about my finances and the trajectory of that
Mhm.
in the future. Like Road to 1 million was a no-brainer for me. I just had to get the coins to get it done.
I love that. Okay, so do you feel like your experience at Road to 1 Million has helped you be more prepared for retirement as an entrepreneur?
Wait, think about retirement. Because the portfolio is already set up and you already told us exactly what to invest and where to invest and how much to invest. So I don't have to worry about it. It's done.
Okay, I
I
like
don't have
it.
to worry
Plug
about
and
that
plug.
side. Yes.
I like that. Okay. All right. So I guess my last question would be just because it's been 2 years since you attended.
Yeah.
2
2
years.
years.
Okay. So since you walked out of that room until today, mindset wise, like how have you navigated? Like, have you been able to maintain the momentum from the event until now? Have you been able to continue your investment journey, the budgeting portion of it, really implement some of those tax strategies? Like, how from then until now, 2 years later, where are you at?
So essentially for me, I have done both. I've both maintained the amount that you've told us to, invest on a regular basis. And when life happens, as life does, I've had to scale back, but I've
Always.
still haven't stopped, those investment points month over month. And so, even though sometimes you got to, adjust, readjust, et cetera, et cetera, it's something that I still have going on. Believe it or not, I know you told us not to, but I had to pull out some of the shmoney from the
Okay,
portfolio.
that's what it's there for.
Exactly. And I was so incredibly glad. So part of what I pulled out actually paid for the 15-year anniversary cruise that hubby and I just came from in August. Okay. So I was like, psh, psh, man, I don't have to worry about working, extra hard to get
Yes.
the extra funds to be able to take care of this cruise because it's good. Like it's good. That was our little spending money,
I
so
love that.
it was
So
nice.
let me tell, oh my God, I'm so proud right now. I am so proud right now because two things. Listening to you, I'm so happy and proud because with all the things that you've maintained, the two things that you took away and that I can hear you speaking about right now is one, progress over perfection. Okay. Because life is going to life. Okay. And at the end of the day, it's not about how you're doing when everything is ponies and rainbows. It's about when things go in the trenches, can you still maintain your commitment to your journey? You got to readjust. Maybe you can't invest this month. Maybe you got to, turn it down for 6 months and then turn it back up. Whatever it is just about progress over perfection. Because I give you all like, run this play, but that play is not being ran on a consistent basis, month over month, year over year for 30 years by anyone. Nobody. Okay.
Right.
Because life is going to life. So I'm so proud to hear you say, like, sometimes I had to scale back and then I brought it back and then I did this and I did. I love that. And then the second point is that is your money.
Right.
That is your money. And it's there to be a resource to you. That money went to work, clocked in, and made more money for you to do what you needed to do with it, right? So everyone always thinks like, it has to be an emergency or I have to be retiring or I have to, sometimes you just want to take that money out because you want to celebrate your love and do something special for you and your husband. And that is a wonderful reason to take some money out your portfolio because that is what your portfolio is. Therefore, it's your money is to create the life that you want to live. So I am
Exactly.
heart.
I just wanted to let me throw something else out there, right? So, hubby and I just recently got life insurance, and since both of us are truckers, we got like a special kind of trucking. life insurance, and the
Mhm.
insurance guy asked, "Do you have a Roth IRA?" I was like, "I do. I have a Roth IRA." He was like, "Great job. Oh, good job." I was like, "Yeah." I felt kind of warm and fuzzy inside when he
Proud,
said that.
proud about I oh my gosh. I knew when I thought about this podcast, I was like, I gotta see if she can make it. When I thought about Road to 1 Million, as a period, I was like, I gotta see if she's available. But I know you booked and busy and blessed. So I appreciate you even taking the time to sit down with me and have this conversation and share your experience. Um, because that's the other thing. I just really appreciate being able to maintain these long-term relationships now. Like I always tell people, Road to 1 Million, the reason why it's so intimate, only 10 women, is because I genuinely want to get to know each of these women, right? This has become a tribe for us to, to find resource in each other, to connect with one another. It's not just in business that you need support, right? It's in life. Women are built to need support. Men are built to need support too, but women need that sense of community and to be successful, even in your finances, like to even to say, hey, I'm doing well, or hey, I'm going through some shit. We need a community. So I love that. And I love being able to maintain that relationship with you over these years. So look, this is what I
Likewise,
got for you.
likewise. I got to tell you, I feel super, super special. Air hugs, air hugs. I got to tell you, I feel super special being connected to amazing women like you because it's kind of like a reaffirmation, a reconfirmation that I am that I have the right circle of people with me that are also doing fabulous things, and that keeps me sharp. You know what I'm saying? So it's really amazing, and it's really refreshing also when you can get in front of other women that have the same level of tenacity and ambition as you do, and they get
Mhm.
it. You know,
Mhm.
I mean, when people were running through their rap sheet, I was like, "Damn, girl, you did all that? God, Jesus." Jesus, I thought my resume was good. I was like, shit, girl, you doing your thing. I don't know how you're doing it, but okay, all right.
I
You
love
know? So yeah, it's been amazing. Please, please continue to do what you do because seriously, if it weren't for women like you, I would still be scratching my head around. I don't know if I should get a Roth IRA. I don't trust anybody enough to, go through that process. I don't feel like talking to anybody else on the phone or on Zoom because all I hear is more money, more money, more money. And Jesus Christ, when you are making too much and you want to save as much as you can, the last thing you want to do is be paying every freaking Tom, Dick, and Harry to be robbing you blind. You know what I'm saying? But I have to honestly say you keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you are doing because the ladies who are participating in this situation, absolutely thank you from the bottom of our hearts. I'm just gonna speak for everybody, okay, when I tell you this. We need you, okay? So please do not stop doing what you're doing, okay?
I appreciate that so much. I appreciate that. And you keep doing what you're doing too. One last time, can you please tell them where they can find you? I'm going to drop it all in the show notes, but just let us know where we can find you.
Absolutely. So you can find me on Instagram at airassistant.io. Just to let you all know, in order to get to that road to 1 million, like you got to be a woman that's about her ish, okay? And so, uh, and so the number one thing that I will definitely be able to help you do is to level up to that. How do you say it? You say thousandaire in your Instagram bio, but we're gonna level it up just like we're gonna add like two more zeros onto that.
I love that.
So the first place that I would recommend that ladies connect with me is by jumping onto our text message list by texting the word start to 2177 glow up. That's START to 217-745-6987. And from there, what I do is I shoot over a little link to a six-figure growth gap assessment. And that's where I'm on video. I'm asking you all the questions, and then I give you some custom resources based on what your results are and where you are right now inside of your business. So that's where you can find me.
I love it. Please go connect with her. You obviously won't regret it. I mean, you obviously won't regret it, but when I mentioned earlier how you say everything with this like light about you, but you're talking about real, right? Like you
Yes.
talking about that money, like you talking about how to get to where we're all trying to grind to get. So definitely connect with Nani. You will be blown away. Okay,
Thank
so
you. I'm gonna paint the picture for you before you close it out, okay? 2 weeks ago, I was in
okay.
a laser session with my private clients, okay? These are the ladies that have paid
Hmm.
25K to work with me. Mind you,
Hmm.
one of them who's been with me for 2 years reported bringing in $2.5 million since she started working with us, okay? I said,
Wow.
girl, you're gonna make me expensive, okay? $2.5 million. And mind you, that's like it's like a she didn't just wake up one day and just make $2.5 million. Her first year, 136K. A couple months after that, she brought in her first $360,000 week. I was like,
Wow.
ma'am. And it's all strategy. It's strategy, it's systems, it's mindset, and it's hiring that employee. Okay. And it's a whole lot more efficient and economical than a lot of people think. So that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say.
Listen,
Text
you
me.
painted the picture. Okay, you
Okay, we're
painted the
gonna do
picture.
it.
Say it again. Text start to what? Say it again.
2177 glow up. 217-745-6987. And I got you. I got you. Okay.
I love that. Okay, Nani. Well, you get back to your hubby. Please be safe out there. Have fun, and we'll talk to you soon.
Have a
Bye.
great one.
You too. See you later. Okay, so wow. One thing I love about Nani is how intentional she is with harnessing, just really high vibes and positive energy. And she really puts that into, the work that she does. And she really is intentional about just pushing good energy and good vibes on her audience through the work that she does. So I love that. This conversation was really eye opening too, because I got to really get to know Nani on a different level than we've kind of spoken about in the past, which is something that I appreciate. Okay, so the three themes, yes, three themes that came up from this conversation for me was number one, the book we spoke about in the very beginning about just how it's more beneficial for you to lean into your talents and strengths. So the concept around it is that a lot of times, especially in school, right, you're a student and you're doing really well in like government and English, and you're not doing great in math or science or something like that. And someone will tell you like, well, if you're not doing great at science, you really need to spend most of your time studying that and getting really good at that, right? The idea behind this book is saying, hey, this person's really good at English and not so great at science. So instead of wasting your time trying to get good at something that you're not naturally good at, you should spend all your time really studying English and get great at it, right? Because you're already good. If you put extra time into studying it even more, you'll be great at it. And so the book is called Strength Finders, and it's by Gallup, and it's and Tom Rath, I think. You should read it. If you haven't read it, you should really read it, because it really challenges the way we were taught in the school system. So that's a great book, and it really talks about really delegating those things that you're not great at and how you'll become successful a lot faster that way. So that was the first theme. The second thing I want us to really kind of rabbit hole, I want you and I to jump down, which I'm already fully committed to this rabbit hole and all the way down the rabbit hole. But I want you to journal. Nani spoke about her upbringing and how she was able to see kind of two sides of the coin, right? With her mom's side being really educated and well off, and then her dad's side being kind of the opposite. And I would like for you to take a moment, hopefully today, and journal about your upbringing. There's so many memories locked up inside of you that you don't take the time to even try to recall. You don't let your mind venture because it's not really relevant to our day-to-day grind. I would love for you to just sit and let your mind wander about, financially how you felt, what you saw, what you experienced in your upbringing. And then as those memories or thoughts come up, like, don't stop them, don't try to correct them, just let them come up. And then try to really find areas in your current life, current financial life, current self-esteem, where these past experiences show themselves, right? Because we talked about, you being the main element in your financial strategy, right? You are the main part. It's not, what stocks I can tell you to invest in. It's not what business you can start. It's you, your personality. So journal about your past memories. Take a time, think about your past memories, journal about them, bring them, put them on paper, and then try to apply that and see, do those experiences show up somewhere in my current life, right? In the current way I think about things, in the current way I respond to things, in the current way, I position myself. Where do these past experiences show up now? So that's number 2. The third one is a bit of a doozy, and I've mentioned this before on social media and in many of my classes, but it is a conversation that we don't have enough, and that is about what to do when our income increases beyond our comfort level. Okay, because Nani spoke about her, she and her husband were kind of like, we have all this disposable income. What are we going to do with that? Right? Like, what are we going to do with this? We can't just be spending it. Right. And so this conversation, I think, because the main conversation that's always coming up is like the paycheck to paycheck, like how to make it, how to make ends meet, how to survive kind of thing. We really don't have that conversation about, hey, when your income increases beyond your comfort level or increases beyond the point in which you thought it could or would, what do you do with the extra money? What do you do at that point, right? And I will tell you, the sad truth is most people, when they reach that point, they begin to spend back down to their comfort level. They will spin back down to their comfort level. They want to retreat back into that comfort zone, right? Even if the comfort zone is not actually comfortable, right? Because they're fighting to get out of that comfort zone because they're not comfortable. But once you are out of it and the money is there, you start to spin back down to where where you're comfortable at. And it's really weird, but it's really true. And this can look like a lot of things, right? So for instance, if you are about to get a windfall of money, right? A windfall is like a lump sum of money, expectedly or unexpectedly. And you write out a whole list of where you need to spend the money. I need to pay this bill off. I need to pay this thing off. I need to pay that. I need to do this. I need to put this money somewhere because I don't want to blow the money, and not be responsible with it. Right. So now you have this extra $20,000 coming in, and you've really accounted for all 20,000 of those dollars of what you're going to do to be responsible, instead of blowing the money. But as soon as you spend that $20,000, you're right back down to your comfort zone. You see how that works, right? So it can look a lot of ways. She also mentioned feeling like, when your income increases, you feel like it's a fluke. Okay, yeah, I made an extra 10,000 this month, but I better do something with it now because I don't think I'll be able to do that again, right? That same mentality leads to people spinning down to a comfort zone that they're really not even comfortable with. Let me know in the comments if you understand what I mean by this, because this is a serious issue. It shows itself over and over and over again in my work with women and money. I've seen it so many times in different ways. I'm actually thinking right now, like, I need to create some kind of content, class, workshop, webinar, journal, something around it, because it is real. The way to combat that mentality is through preparation. And if you've ever attended specifically Road to 1 Million, we do a little exercise where you prepare, I let you know that you need to prepare your financial circle. And what does that mean? That means you may not have the money to buy a house yet, but because you know that you're going to save towards it and it's going to be one of your goals, you find a lender, a broker, a realtor that you trust and that you want to work with ahead of time. So maybe 2 years before you're going to buy that house, you already know who you're going to go to when you have the money to buy that house. Same thing with a tax professional. Same thing with an insurance professional, an estate planning attorney, a retirement planner, a financial advisor, a stock investment professional. Why was that a tongue twister for me? A stock investment professional. Same thing with a credit specialist. These are people who are in your financial circle. You find them before you have the money. So when you have the money, you already have the resources in place so that you're not kind of like trying to spin back down to your comfort level. Now you're like, you feel prepared to make bigger moves, right? Because you know you're not going to be irresponsible with the money because you've already put together this financial circle. So that's the thing that we do in Road to 1 Million. I also introduced it inside of the STAR method. Those are the 3 themes that came up for me. The book, Strength Finders, go read it. Journal about your upbringing and where some of your past experiences show up in your current financial life. And then the third thing is really considering this conversation about preparedness and what to do when your income increases beyond your comfort level and not falling into the gap of spending back down. Instead, preparing by creating a financial circle before the money comes so that when the money does come, you're comfortable stepping up and making bigger moves that will, secure your finances and make your money work for you and continue to grow. If you are listening to this podcast after Road to 1 Million and maybe the doors are closed, I encourage you to join us in our community, the STAR Method. It's an online community, personal finance community, where women are building. And a lot of the women you hear on this podcast are also members of the STAR Method because Road to 1 Million comes with a membership into the STAR Method. And so you'll have access to women who have similar goals to you. We have a member directory where everyone puts in their financial goal. And so if you want an accountability partner or if you want to connect with other women, obviously tons of resources in there. I suggest you go ahead and come over. You can find us at www.jointhestarmethod.com/now. I'll drop that in the show notes. And also I'll drop the Road to 1 Million links in the show notes. Again, thank you to Nani for joining me on this episode, and I will see you next time.